Hello, this is Pixel Freak, and today we have part 8 of the Final Fantasy Dimensions walkthrough. So we're in Castle Liene now. We kind of made our way here, and we are about to confront the Empire. And it looks like it's going to be a friendly welcome. So I don't know who didn't see this coming, huh? We get to the Empire, and the Empire's like, nah, we're gonna fight you. He's all shocked and butthurt. Oh, to be naive. I love how they get here and they're like, the Empire has betrayed us. And they're like, what do we do? And half of them kind of have like this almost dilemma of direction. It's like, what are we going to do? And the other guy's like, I'm going to go find my sister. Oh yeah, I guess we want to go find the people that we love too. So let's go ahead and rob this castle blind, and we're going to go take every treasure box out of it. And I think I get all of them. This is one of them that I'm a little bit less sure on. So here on the left hand side there's a little pot there. You can get all your health back. This soldier acts as a store for magic armor and weapons. Fortunately for us, he sells everything that we got out of the last town. So if you picked up everything from the stores there, you don't even need to use him to buy any of this stuff. Maybe some of the sundries, because that's those are items. You might need a few items, I'm not sure. I really didn't find anything particular here that you really needed. There are some places later on where you're going to need particular curing potions, like antidotes and stuff like that. But here, that's not really the case. So what you see me doing here is I'm kind of going through all of them to make sure that I actually have a few of, if not a moderate quantity of each one of these items. And I like to do that just in case I run into a situation where I have absolutely no magic points or no healer, and I have some kind of status ailment on me. So I like to keep whatever's new in the store, keep 10 of them or so. Later on in the game I like to keep more like 50, but because funds are so limited early on in the game, I only grab a few. So by going around here, this allows you to get into the towers, the direction that I went, and you've got to clean out the towers before you go through the rest of the castle. Technically speaking, you could just kind of cruise through here and not pick up all the items, but I do my best to get as many of the items as I can. There are quite a few fights here, though. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember if there's actually a boss in this castle or not. I'd say what I just got if I was able to read it. That was a whole lot of consonants. Banging kakas. Whatever it was. I do believe it's a claw for a monk, if I'm right. I could be wrong. But unfortunately, I'm not using a monk right now, I don't believe. Let's find out what it was. No, I guess I'm not doing that. Also, if you watched the last video, you'd know currently my jobs are not set up in any kind of a strategic way. You gotta watch out for the soldiers here, because they will initiate fights. So that soldier was actually a mangy hound. That's kind of weird. There's not one soldier in the whole battle, and yet he's represented by a soldier on the field. So each one of these guys is gonna be a fight, and you should avoid them if you can, unless you want to fight them and then just run into them. You'll notice that I run into quite a few of them. There we go, that one's got soldiers in it. Anyways, my jobs aren't set up right now in a particularly strategic fashion. I really am just setting them up so that I can maximize my levels. I've already maxed out the jobs which I intend each character to really be proficient in, and they're just kind of doing secondary jobs right now, picking up some extra skills and stuff like that. It's effective still because I have a couple red mages, well, 3 red mages at the moment, and they're, I mean, because they're kind of jack of all trades at this point in the game, they're really effective. Later on in the game, they're the master of none. Part of that phrase comes into play. The red mage is really worthless end game, so don't spend a whole lot of time maxing out your red mages unless you are just trying to pick up the first few levels. That's really all they're worth. There was a lot less hidden items in this particular castle than I anticipated. There's a lot of shelves and stuff, and there just really wasn't that much stuff out there. Luckily, though, there's a lot of treasure boxes, and those treasure boxes have decent items in them, so it's worth cleaning this place out. And that one, I just walked up and I was like, "You want to fight, buddy?" That guy's running. I need to fight with those guys. Good idea. Another main couch. That's kind of nice to have, I guess. I'm not necessarily sure that I use it. Huh. Hadn't optimized that guy. Kenpoji. So if you're watching this and you actually notice me miss a treasure somewhere, feel free to leave a comment in the comments section. I won't go back and re-record it, but it's nice for everybody to know, and I would hope that if someone finds a treasure that's not there, other people should vote up those comments so that this is a more complete walkthrough. Again, I am trying to get all of them, but I don't know that that's going to be reality. And because I'm kind of flying blind with this game as well, I am going to try to do as many side quests as I can. But again, those things sometimes are obscure, so it might be kind of tough to go and get all the side quests. We'll find out when I get to that point. My understanding on this game is that once you can't really do any side quests until you're at the very end of the game. Kind of like Final Fantasy X, a lot of the side quests were kind of buried, and then all of a sudden when you got the airship and you had access to the entire map, then you could go back and do all of the side quests. I've heard something similar for this game. Not sure why I walked the wrong way there, but here we go. Back on the path. Okay, so this is kind of a boss. Hell minion. This guy does summon another little ally. So go ahead and beat the crap out of him for a while, and then after he takes a little bit of damage, he'll summon some like Bartleby or something like that. He summons a little monster that fights for him. My approach for this guy is to just fight him, and then when he summons the other guy, just keep pounding on this guy, get him dead, and then kill the other monster. Not sure if that's the most efficient way to do this fight, but it's not particularly tough, so... Butch. Why don't I call him Bartleby? So Butch is a chimera. And I'm pretty sure my approach, and I fought this fight, I fought it 2 or 3 times now. Yeah, this particular time I went to kill him, and I found that to be a little more effective than killing Butch. If you spend some time leveling up the way that I did, this is like just a cakewalk type of fight. You just walk right through it. It's not that big of a deal at all. I find though that in this game, oh, I forgot that Elgo's got the second tier black magic spells. I find though that in this game, if you grind and then you beat one dungeon or area, and then go to the next one usually is much more difficult, and it's your level. Like if you walk through one really easily, the next one by the time you get to it, it's actually going to be pretty difficult. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure how much you really need to grind in this game, but by the way that I play these RPG games, I tend to grind for a while, and then I'll go through a few dungeons, and then I'll grind for a little while, and then I'll go through a few dungeons. It's just my way of going through these games. I don't really like going through and never grinding, or trying to go through the game without grinding, just because I'm more of a story experiencer rather than a trying to challenge myself. If I really like a game, I'll go through it and do some kind of a challenging playthrough. Actually, most Final Fantasies I'll go through and do my typical grind and dungeon way, and then I'll go through it a more difficult of way of some sort. Just because all the Final Fantasy games through, I'd say 12, I really liked. 13, not so much. I was one of the dissenters on 13, with probably the majority of people, at least here in the United States. I'm not sure how it was received as much in Europe, but I know that Asia, for the most part, enjoyed the game. At least that seems to be the sentiment out on the internet. Many of the people, at least here in the US, didn't like 13. And there may be some of you that liked it out there. I played through the whole game, and it was okay. I just found the story to be particularly convoluted, enough that it almost made no sense whatsoever. I had a really hard time getting attached to any of the characters, because it seemed to move around quite a bit, and they all seemed to be really, I hate to say cliche, because I've been using that word a lot lately, but they were. I mean, yeah. And the little girl with the pink hair, I just wanted to strangle her. It was really horrible. Her existence needed to end. But I don't know, it was an okay game. I mean, for playing an RPG, a lot of times when an RPG is only mediocre, I have a hard time getting through it. And I actually completed the game, so it must have been decent. I ended up starting to play 13-2, and then I just kind of gave it up. And a lot of the problem with that wasn't that it was a good game or a bad game, because it seemed decent to me. It was that I had nothing invested in that universe anymore. Because when I played 13, I was like, okay, so I'm not attached to any of those characters. I really don't care to know what happens moving forward, because I didn't care the first time. So despite the mechanics, however good they may have been, I really couldn't get into 13-2. And now 13-3 is about to come out, the Lightning's Return or something like that. And I'm not sure if I'll even get that one. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out, because of my, I don't know, apprehension of 2, and I really just don't care as much. But when I get another game and they come out with a new universe of Final Fantasy games, I'll pick that one up. I'll keep buying them forever, just like Pearl Jam albums. Not to say that Pearl Jam is particularly a bad band. I like Pearl Jam. I just don't like them as much as I did in the very beginning when I was buying Pearl Jam albums. But I still will buy Pearl Jam albums. Given how this fight went down, it really gives me an appreciation for how they implemented the auto battle in this particular game. Most games, especially the Kemco RPGs, if you do auto battle, you can just cruise through the game without doing much at all. And very much like Final Fantasy 13, which is funny because I was just talking about Final Fantasy 13. A lot of times in that game, and a lot of times in the Kemco games, when you turn auto battle on, you can just cruise through the game. Auto battle should not work that way. Auto battle should allow you to take turns very quickly once you have your guys set up. This game, I would say, very well implements the auto battle technique, or the auto battle feature. You set your guys up for a certain strategy, let's say fire and curing, or spell curing, or spell casting and curing. But then when you run into an enemy, like just now, I had all my guys set up to just melee attack, and this is becoming more and more true as I go through the game. But if you're set up to all physical attack like this just now, I had to turn the auto battle off very quickly because all my physical attacks are doing nothing. They tend to put these jellies in the front row so that if you're set to auto battle just physical attacks, you're going to sit there and hit zeros on those guys, and they're going to slowly chip away at your health. So you have to be cognizant of what's going on, what you're actually doing when you're attacking. You have to watch your auto battle strategy, or you could die. It's very well implemented. And even though early in the game I thought that I wouldn't use auto battle more as I went through the game, I find I'm using it even more than I was before. The trick is that I'm constantly juggling what I'm doing in the auto battle settings, and it actually works really well. Like I'm very happy with the way that it's implemented. Even in boss fights, I'll do like a third of the boss fight one particular strategy, then the boss will change a little bit. Maybe I'll find that, oh, now I need 2 guys curing, and my black mage, instead of using fire, needs to use thunder now all of a sudden, or something like that. Or my dragoon needs to be jumping instead of just fighting on the ground now. I need that guy up in the air. So it's kind of cool that you need to keep changing your strategies, but then you can use auto battle to continue doing the same strategies over and over again. It's probably the first time that I'm excited and really happy with an auto battle setting. Though I do have to say, the most recent Kemco RPG, Symphony of the Origins, that was much better. Not this good, but still much better than their other RPGs. Most of the time, their RPGs, you just set auto battle and walk through the game. Symphony of the Origin was a little bit different. I hear it's a really short game. I still haven't beat it because I've been focusing so much on this game. But it's been a good game for what I've played. I've played about 3 hours of it. I hear it's only about 10 hours long, which is, if that's true, that's unfortunate. So don't forget that elixir on the right-hand side of the throne. So now we're going back to the beginning. So you can't just walk through this. I had forgotten about that guy. My apologies. So I was wrong in the very beginning of this walkthrough when I had said you could just walk through that, because you actually have to go into the prison and then beat the crap out of that guy, and then this guy here unlocks this door to the left. I'm going to the right to heal up. And I would suggest you do the same when you get here. So this is a really cool room, the way they did this. The guy just disappears and the room is a dead end. All the little facets in this room are actually interactable, and I think I walked through and touched all of them. You stick your head in that? Ew, it stinks. There's another pot there that if you stick your hand in it, it'll poison you. And I don't think I do it because I'm aware of it, but you can do it if you want to. So it's very clear when you go up to that bookcase that the bookcase needs to be moved. You just can't do it yet. There's a trick to it. Love this scene. Love it. It's a thriller. Are those titty sprinkles? Love it. I love it. He's like, I'm gonna take this porn. What kind of book you got there? It's a thriller. Put back the naked ladies. I don't know. Technically, it doesn't need to be naked women. I mean, it just said that it was an adult magazine of some sort. So that's the pot there. If you interact with it, it gives you poison. So you got to get water from that back pot by walking behind it, and then put water in this pot here, and then it opens up that bookcase. And ta-da! Secret path. Nothing there. So this really just leads you back into the main part of the castle. And that's pretty much it. So that's Castle Liene. Really, there is that boss towards the bottom, but no real super boss of that particular dungeon either. Nothing really difficult, at least. Not in a big way. Ooh, airship. And if you've ever played a Final Fantasy game before this one, you would know that right now, when you're about to get an airship, that is cause for a massive erection. Because the airship is the awesomest part of the game. So, before you touch that airship, if you haven't already, someone pointed this out in the comments section of one of the previous videos, you can get a new summon by interacting with a chocobo. And there's a chocobo forest right up here to the left, and you're going to see me do that. By talking to a chocobo, you get the yellow chocobo summon. Just like that. So I do believe that there's one over by Lux that you could have gotten earlier in the game, but if you haven't got it by now, pick it up right here. That's it for this piece of the walkthrough. The next piece will be on the airship. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, this has been Pixel Freak.